Okay, readers, let's finish our read aloud of Upstairs Mouse, Downstairs Mole. Just to remind us, in our last chapter, Mouse and Mole first solved a problem by doing their cleaning together, but then they found that when they were visiting each other, they had a hard time being comfortable. Let's see how they solved that problem. Kind, good neighbors. Let me try that again. Mole woke up the next morning feeling refreshed. He looked around his tidy hole. How nicely dark and damp it was. Nothing like Mouse's house, which was warm and bright. Suddenly, Mole pictured Mouse shivering. He remembered Mouse sneezing, Mouse bumping into the table, and Mouse smacking into the door. Why, Mouse had not even touched the worms on her plate. "Goodness!" cried Mole. "How selfish of me!" He buttoned his jacket and rushed out the door. Mouse washed the dishes in the sink. Rays of sunshine streamed into the kitchen. How bright and cheery things looked, not at all like Mole's dark hole. Suddenly, Mouse pictured Mole covering his eyes. She remembered Mole walking into the wall, Mole falling off his chair, and Mole bumping into the door. Why, Mole had not even nibbled the cheese on his plate. "Mercy me!" squeaked Mouse. "What a thoughtless neighbor I've been!" She zipped her coat and raced out the door. Mouse tied a bow on her box and hurried downstairs. Mole finished wrapping his package. He went upstairs to call on Mouse. They bumped into each other outside. "Why, hello," said Mouse to Mole. "Hello," said Mole to Mouse. "This is for you," said Mole. "I hope you don't think me a thoughtless neighbor." Mouse opened the present. There were 2 candles inside the box. "Bring them when you visit," said Mole, "and my hole will be less dark and damp." "Thank you very much," said Mouse. "You are a kind neighbor." Mouse handed Mole her box. "I hope I haven't been too selfish a neighbor." Mole unwrapped the package. Inside was a pair of sunglasses. "Wear them when you visit," said Mouse, "and my house will not seem so bright." "Thank you very much," said Mole. "You are a good neighbor, Mouse." Together they strolled into town for dessert. Mouse had the cheesecake. As for Mole, a bowl of worms, lightly fried. The boat. Mole knocked on Mouse's door. Tap, tap, tap. "Good morning, Mole." Oh, let me try that voice again. "Good morning, Mole," said Mouse. "Good morning, Mouse," said Mole. "I hope you like surprises." "I love surprises," squeaked Mouse. "Don't tell. Let me try to guess." "It has to do with water," whispered Mole. Mouse twirled her tail. It had not rained in 2 days. The flowers in the garden were starting to droop. She hopped up and down on one foot. "Is it a rain dance?" guessed Mouse. "Nope," said Mole. "Not a rain dance." Mouse waved her arms back and forth as if she were casting a line. "Are we going fishing then?" "Nope, not fishing either," said Mole. Mouse scratched her ears. She was hot from hopping up and down. Her arms were tired from waving back and forth. Swimming?" she squeaked hopefully. "Wrong again," said Mole. "Follow me." They hiked along the path to the pond. There in the water was a boat. "Surprise!" shouted Mole. "My, what a beautiful boat!" said Mouse. "I have only one paddle, though," said Mole. "No problem," said Mouse. "We'll take turns." "Good thinking," Mole smiled. Off they went. Mole paddled and paddled. Then he paddled some more. His arms were getting sore. They had passed the willow tree 3 times. "I think we are going in circles," said Mouse. "Here, let me try." Mouse paddled and paddled. Then she paddled some more. Soon Mouse's arms began to ache. They passed the willow tree 3 more times, only now they were headed in the opposite direction. "You're right, Mouse," said Mole. "We are definitely going in circles." Both Mouse and Mole were hot and tired from all the paddling. Let's go for a swim, suggested Mole. They dove into the water. Mouse splished, Mole splashed. How refreshing. They climbed back into the boat. Mouse twirled her tail. Mole rubbed his snout. I have an idea, squeaked Mouse. Why not switch paddling more often? Good thinking, Mole chuckled. At least we won't tire as easily. Pretty soon, Mouse and Mole were zipping across the pond. When they reached the other side, it was time to turn around. Mouse and Mole were experts at turning around. Ouch! Squeaked Mouse. Something is nibbling on my tail. She yanked it out of the water. A fish flopped into the boat. Way to go, said Mole. Our first fish. Mouse and Mole hopped up and down in celebration. They waved their arms back and forth at the sky. Then it began to rain. The next day, Mouse knocked on Mole's door. Tap, tap, tap. I have a surprise for you, whispered Mouse. Let me guess, Mole clapped. Like Mouse, he too was fond of surprises. It has to do with pears, she said. Do you mean pears like on a tree? Asked Mole, or pears like mittens? Like mittens, said Mouse, only not mittens. Mole rubbed his snout. He kicked the dirt with his feet. A claw poked out of one shoe. Is it shoes or socks? Guessed Mole. Nope, not shoes, not socks, said Mouse. She disappeared behind the tree. Surprise! Out jumped Mouse. She handed Mole a paddle decorated with ribbons. Now we have a pair of paddles. A pair? Said Mole. Like you and me? Together they hopped up and down, dancing in circles around the oak tree. Mole waved the paddle back and forth at the sky. Plip, plop. Down came the rain once again. Mouse and Mole's garden never looked better. All right, readers, that's the end of our read aloud. Make sure you watch our mini lesson video to learn how readers can learn lessons from their books.